2, 3.
Peace, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of In the Pocket, where we spotlight the connections between the history of art, music, and culture with some of DC's most interesting people who helped shape this legacy, one conversation at a time. I'm T.
I'm Paige.
And we're glad you came. We're bringing this show to you live from the upstairs of the beautiful on-floor gallery on Good Hope Road. That's 1241 Good Hope Road Southeast, where we're currently showing the work of B.K. Adams, and it will be up from now until July 24th, 2021. So be sure to come through. Our hours at On-Floor Gallery are Wednesday through Saturday, noon until 4. And also, while you're here, go 2 doors down to the Anacostia Art Center to see the 14th annual East of the River art exhibition. And one of the artists whose work is currently on display in that show is here with us today. Someone who I've known ever since we were toddlers. I mean, not for a while. We've known each other for a while.
Yeah, let's not call out how old people are. I just had a birthday. I don't need a reminder.
is my good buddy Victoria Ford is in the building.
Woo-hoo!
I don't have air horns.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. So I got the bio part. So Victoria Ford, aka Sneakshot, has been capturing the essence of live music shows from an early age, but it wasn't until 2011 that she decided to share her striking imagery with the world. The native Washingtonian has been featured in group and solo exhibitions in New York, DC, and Los Angeles. Most recently, she was featured in a group show at the Art of Noise Gallery in Petworth. She has taken photos of artists ranging from Maxwell, Be Still My Heart, Mary J. Blige, Lauryn Hill, Aaron Abernathy, Local Boy, The Roots, Seal, DMX, R.I.P., and been featured in media outlets such as Billboard, Ebony, Essence, Vogue, The New York Times, OK Player, Life and Times, and Lomography. I knew I was going to ruin that. Her photos are published in MFON, Women Photographers of the African Diaspora, and Smithsonian Rock and Roll, Life and Unseen. Welcome,
Great.
Victoria.
How you even have time to be here, man? That's what's up.
Easy. I live here.
You see, one conversation at a time. Oh, why? Well, so that leads to our first. So where did you grow up?
Oh, well, I grew up in Northeast on C Street, so closer to the Stadium Armory side of the world. I went to Kingsman Elementary. It's no longer there anymore. But I went to Kingsman Elementary. So I was born in DC, and then around 1988, my mother decided she was like, we're going to move the family. We're going to move to Maryland.
Yeah.
And she
So not that far away. Uh-oh.
It was right off of Benton Road. I was like, Mom, this is Southeast adjacent. This
Right.
is like,
I know, that was like basically next door.
so, I was saying, I still say I was raised in DC, even though
That counts.
88, I lost my time. I was down Benton Road, so I was in Southeast.
88's Benham, yeah. Wow, and Benham Road in 1988
Was no joke.
was no joke. I think when we had that talk with when Big Chess was here, I was mentioning to him, like, in the 80s, I have, like, there's the map of DC, like, on the back of when you're in the taxi cab and you see the zones, but then superimposed on that in my mind was like, okay, over here is the Hill Boys, over there is the Gangster Chronicles, they go to 8th and H Crew, here's the Barry Farms Ghostbusters, and so, like, my movement around town was really, or non-movement was based on, like, like Benton Road, Simple City, Eastgate, like, I was like, I have no reason to be, there's nothing that if there's anything over there that I need to go to, well, I will never know.
I would just never know.
I'm not going to know.
Wait, so when did you two connect? Because you said you've known each other. Like, was it like at school or was
In the
this
90s,
after that?
on the scene, it was, would you say it was like, it was when there was I almost hate to say the scene, but it was a scene.
It was around 98, 99. Like U Street with like State of the Union and Copper House and Metro Cafe.
Metro Cafe.
Hold on.
Yep.
Diversity was a little spot right next door to Metro.
Oh
Cafe.
yeah, diversity. Yeah, because they always had the little salsa classes on the
Yeah,
inside.
they had little salsa classes in Dub Ellington, and someone else used to
See,
do
and I
this.
don't know this U Street. I mean, that U Street.
You would love that U Street.
You would.
All the conversations we've had, I'm always like, I wish I knew DC back then, because U Street has a little bit of that flavor still, but it's mostly
U Street
all
now.
on.
U Street now is like Adam Morgan East or West or
Yeah.
It turned into Adams Morgan.
Yeah, Kokai and I used to we were roommates. We rented a house on 4th in Florida, across the street from Frazier Funeral Home, which is a condo now.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm thinking that
right.
everything in this town is a condo.
And you could literally, on a Friday night, not even know what was going on, and just walk out and walk up U Street. Somebody you knew was playing, or at a State of the Union. There's this weird kind of vibe between like Republic Garden people and State of the Union people. Yeah.
So you had like hip hop and backpackers and house heads.
Yeah.
And then you had like more of the bougie crowd, so more of the people that go to Dream or Love Park.
Okay.
So that because it was owned by Mark. It was owned by Mark Bond. So
Okay.
he had his clientele.
Yeah.
Now sometimes the two would intermix.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, all the hip hop and backpackers didn't want to be seen by their friends coming out of the gardens.
It was
It's
real.
kind of funny.
It was real, yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. But we might all end up bumping into each other at Webb's, at the fish joint that was like right. So there was a little alley between Republic Gardens and this family that.
It was Wilson's. Wasn't it
No, it was
Wilson's?
Webb's.
But did it change to Wilson's?
Did it?
I think so. Don't quote me, but I could be wrong.
no.
But I know they had a really great cake.
Yeah.
I mean, the food was
yeah.
good. Yeah.
So yeah, and this is pre-Bar None.
Oh,
Well, not pre-Bar None, but Bar None was around, but State of the Union and Republic Gardens was really, really popping. And there was a lot of other things.
Well, no, Bar None was around, but it was basically the poetry scene at Bar None at that time.
Yeah.
And then Mango's around
And
the
Mango's
corner.
around the corner.
okay. So were you in your poetry phase, or were you a performer? Like, were you in a band at this point?
Yeah, I was in the band.
You were in the band? Okay,
I was
so did you photograph that?
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a sense of like what was happening.
Early on in my life,
Yes.
I didn't pick up the camera until 2007. At least photographing shows and stuff. Before that, I worked with a concert promoter in the area, so that I was that person that annoyingly put flyers in your car while you someplace else, and you come back, you're like, "What's this?" But you knew what was going to happen because I didn't put a flyer in your car.
Right.
So I was a street teamer, so I was always out in that area. So,
Okay.
And then we all had mutual friends, so you know how you
Okay.
on the scene.
On the scene, okay. So were you going to a lot of shows? Like, were you going to a lot of concerts and stuff?
Yeah, I always concerts have been embedded in me at a really early age.
Okay.
My mom actually took me to my first concert.
What was it?
It was the Victory Tour.
Oh,
Was that Michael Jackson?
Yep.
Michael Jackson, yeah.
You saw Michael Jackson? What? How was it?
It was awesome, but I was also like I was a little kid. I think I was like 7, 8.
Oh.
I had a Jerry curl, but I knew what I was looking at because I was reared around music. My mom didn't play an instrument, but she always played it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it was like my first concert was Michael Jackson. Then my second one within the same month was New Edition. So.
Wait, did your mom take you to that one too? Mm-hmm. Your mom's was cool as hell.
Yes, she was.
My mom was like, you can't listen to none of the good stuff because there might be naughty words. And I'm like, I'm 8. I don't know what I'm singing.
Right.
My mother took me to see Purple Rain when I was 8.
Are you kidding?
My mom played Prince in the house, so I was familiar with Prince. He scared the crap out of me. In the very beginning, I was like, no. My mom had me when she was 19. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, she was still a kid, but an adult. She was that.
So that's why she was a cool mom.
Right. So, in her room, I guess at that time our room, which was a fairly large room, she had posters up. So I remember she had this weird, big old poster of McFadden and Whitehead, and I was like, wow. And then, I'm a kid, but I'm just like, I don't think I find them that attractive. But okay, what do I know? And then she had a poster of Prince up when he's in the shower with his bikinis, and I was like, No.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what that is, but I want no parts of it.
Yeah, I remember Prince scared me too. I mean, because when I was growing up, so you were either into Michael Jackson or you were into Prince. And you had to pick. You couldn't be wishy-washy about it. You had to pick. And I mean, I love Michael Jackson's dancing, his choreography. I loved his music. And I liked Prince too, but there was something about him, but I was too young to know
what.
I was running around singing Little Red Corvette, and I really thought it was about the Little Red Corvette. And my mom was like, okay, you are like a child. You cannot be talking about your engine running fast. And I'm like, he's just talking about a car.
Because we're innocent and we don't know.
I'm like, this song is cool as hell. Like this song is on.
It's about a car.
And this song is on solid gold, so it can't be bad. They got the solid gold dancers. Boogie. It must be fine.
Dancers.
Yes.
Wow.
That was my show.
I actually followed Darcel Williams on
Was she the one with the
Instagram.
long hair?
Yeah.
She was my favorite. I wanted to be her. I was like, that was my aspiration. I wanted
She
to.
was a solid gold dancer?
Yeah.
I wanted to be on solid
She was
gold,
like
and I wanted to be her.
the prominent
Black.
solid gold
With the hair.
She had long hair.
She was
always
beautiful.
sauntering around.
Oh, she was.
She looked the same. Yeah, so those were my first concerts. So I've always been into music and concerts, and my mom was my concert buddy for a long time, actually.
That is awesome. But so when did the photography aspect come into it?
Okay, so I always had some sort of camera. Like my mom had like Polaroids and all Polaroids and the disc and the 110. So she's always had like cameras to capture family moments. She wasn't out really doing anything. But I loved cameras, and then I got to a point in 07, 06, 07. And I was like, you know what, I have access to things. And I was still going to a lot of shows. Like I was a diehard Roots fan. Anybody that knows me knows when the Roots were in town, I was right in the front.
Yeah.
It got so bad that I think they expected.
They were like, oh, you again?
They're like, what up, what up, Grab? How you doing, girl? So I would like just have a little camera, a little funk around film camera and took some stuff. But then I was like, oh, well, this DSLR thing might be interesting. So my friend Kimberly Gaines, who you know Kimberly, she was a photographer. She went to Howard for like film and photography and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, can I use your camera? I want to, learn it. Can you teach me? And she basically was like, I'll answer your questions, but you're gonna learn it yourself. So so I would ask. Cool. So I would figure it out, and I actually have some of my older photos or the beginning photos, and I look now I'm like, ooh, girl, what are you doing? I thought you were doing something. Why is everything at an angle? What are you focused on? I'm like, okay, I see the growth within myself. Even from 07 to 2011, I was asked to participate in a group exhibition at this place called the Bishop Lamont. It used to be on 9th Street. Okay. And Gerald Watson, who now does Shaolin Jazz. He was doing this he had a thing called documenting the fresh. So it was me and two other women photographers. I think it was Daphne Steinberg, and she used to shoot under this name, the moniker of Lady Glock. And she was more like nightlife stuff. And then Terry Mamolo,
Terry Mamolo. We went to school.
Mamolo, okay, it was us three. And then so I sold a really decent amount of work that night, and I was like, really? Maybe onto something. Yeah. And then also being that I love music, and growing up I would read like Right On, like the Kids, Fresh, but I was a little oddball kid. So where my love was all for like R&B and soul, New Edition, I'll Be Sure, all that. I also loved like Cyndi Lauper, Billy Idol, New Kids on the Block.
Because they were awesome.
So I was, I discovered them kind of on my own. So I would read Tiger Beat and 16 and Rolling Stone. And I also loved the album covers because when I was like 3 until I decided I didn't want to really hang out with my mom anymore. She would take me to record stores every like Saturday morning.
Right.
And then at like 3, she was like, go pick what you want. Now, what do I know at 3? I just know a cover.
Yeah.
But I was fascinated by the liner notes and all the things that an album was made of. So I was like,
yeah, because I used to go, like when we lived in England, I'd go to Tower Records.
mm-hmm.
And I would, because it was always about the album art, you know, look at them, and I would read the liner notes and like the lyrics and who wrote this and who
Produced
so,
that.
like, who produced that. So yeah, I was always into that stuff too. You know, because this is when MTV was a thing.
When MTV showed music.
Actual videos, yeah,
Right.
you know, and I'd be like, oh, well, you know, I know who, you know, did the video for this, or like, they didn't really write this song. Yeah, I was that nerdy kid, you know, who was like, they didn't play any of the instruments on this song. Actually, I was that child.
We would have been
friends.
We were basically the same. We're probably the same person.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And you know, I really find that is interesting, you know, because a lot of times it's easy to assume that like black folks only are into like, you know, either R&B or hip hop or jazz or something like that, you know, and certainly I know in my growing up, you know, when I was in middle school, like Elvis Costello was my man, you know, the Boomtown Rats. So I used to, you know, and I used to play out these videos. I used to pretend when I went to Catholic school, we had to wear the sweater and all that. But in my mind, I was in like a England punk band, and this whole thing was like my you know my outfit.
Your stage attire.
Yeah, I was like, these guys in here, they don't even know how I get down.
Yeah.
They don't even know how I get down out here. I'm crazy. You know what I mean? With my little run over penny loafers.
But still, you had that attitude. You were the rebel within.
It was, you know, so when we, yeah, right. So like the whole rock and roll thing actually wasn't ever a departure from who I ever was. I mean, I was carrying equipment for a rock band when I was 11. So
Wow.
that never really, I stopped short of saying I was a roadie because I was 11. I was carrying it for a black rock band.
You were a roadie.
In Southeast. It was a band called Electric Lady Experience. They were I used to say they were a Jimi Hendrix cover band, but that's really not the case because they had originals. But the lead guy, his name was Eric Alexander, he would, they were my next door neighbors. And on their patio, they would have full on just concerts on the patio in like Wingate East apartment, like right up here off of Martin King Avenue, until the police would come. And he would give me an album. He'd be like, you know, give me a Janis Joplin album. He'd say, go home and listen to that, and then bring it back and I'll give you another record.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And here's Jimi Hendrix. So by the time he, you know, got me into Jimi Hendrix, I was, you know, coming outside. I had like headbands and all this stuff on. I was 12, you know, and nobody want to hang with me except my real. That's when I knew who my real friends were.
Yeah, that is awesome. But you were saying, you know, when you're looking back at some of your early photographs, like what bands were you following and taking pictures of? Like what venues were showing up?
So being that, remember I said I was working with a concert promoter, it clicked. I was like, oh wait, I have access to certain things.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of it was a lot of shows that we did. So during that time we were doing a lot of like soul, and a lot of stuff from Philly. So like Bilal, Fertile Ground.
A lot of Black Cat stuff too.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of Black Cat. A lot of Black Cat.
Black Cat was happening back then.
Black Cat, Sub 930, and I would always.
Wait, which 930?
930.
Original one? I mean, which location?
Oh no, the WUST, the newer one.
The new one. Okay.
I've been to the older one. I did shoot some film stuff there, but I'm sorry, I just remembered this now.
I was just about to say the stinky one.
Yes.
We all know. They know.
Yes.
We all know.
Yes.
That makes it part of who they are. But I also would go to Philly a lot, and so there was a lot of stuff I've shot up there when they was doing the Black Lily at this place called the 5 Spot. That's no longer there. It burned down.
It burned down.
Yeah,
Wow.
it mysteriously burned down.
The 5 spot.
Something tells me there's a story there.
It might be.
Wow.
So
Did somebody get a big house after it burned down?
I don't know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like Jill Scott, like I was there with Floetry, first
Oh
got
my
their
God,
started.
Poetry. They were the ish for like 5 seconds, and then poof.
No, they were around for a
Really?
while. Yeah.
Okay.
They had a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they disbanded and one went that way and one went that way, and then they tried to get back and it didn't work.
Didn't
It
work.
didn't work. Man, Phil, yeah, wow. That was really speaking of fertile, that was a seriously fertile time. Fertile ground, right? So did you, because they used to also play at, in Tacoma Park, right? Tacoma Station.
I didn't shoot a lot at Tacoma Station because at that time I still was like, I don't know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do,
Okay.
and I don't like this venue because there's a lot of sit down and
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
weird, and I was like, so I kind of picked, and then again, I didn't own the camera.
Okay.
I had to borrow it whenever I could. So,
Okay.
and then there was another photographer that was around. I'm like, can I borrow your camera? Can I borrow your camera? I was the can I borrow your camera person for a few years
Okay.
until I finally bought my own camera.
So at this point, this was still sort of you doing it for fun.
Right.
And
I didn't take it seriously until after the group show
Right.
in 2011. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, let me see if I can reach out to a publication. And, I learned all the, you need press passes unless you know an artist. So I learned all the back pieces of it instead of me going, I'm just going to show up with a camera. And you're going to confiscate my camera.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, right? You can't just be out there just.
Not with a big old thing. Like if
Yeah.
I had a little film or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
small, then yeah.
So when you decided, okay, I'm gonna take this serious. I wanna be legit, get a press pass and all of that. I mean, because I try to get press pass for things, and some venues are cool. They're like, sure. Others are like, well, what's your following? And if you're not a big name, they're like, no. So when you decided, all right, I want to do this. Do you remember the first publication you approached, and how was that experience for you?
Okay, so that's a little easy. So I have a friend, his name is no relation to me. His name is Winston Ford,
Okay.
but I jokingly call him Cuz.
Okay.
Right.
Somewhere down the line he might be. But he had a publication called The Couch Session.
Okay.
And I started working with him, so that was my first one.
Okay.
Because he was like, I like your work, I like what you're doing, I'm looking for a photographer to cover more live events, are you interested? And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess so. I can do that. What do you want me to do? I just got to show up and take pictures and send them to you? Okay, I get it, whatever. So that was my first publication. And then years and years, I still was kind of around the roots. And I started doing small things here and there for OK Player. One of their, I think she was the vice president at the time. Her name was Jenny Suss. She took a liking to my work, and she was like, "Hey, I would like to feature you more. Use you more to not use. I hate to use that word, but to shoot more things for the site." So I was like, "Okay."
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
So it was more like a relationship type.
Okay.
Because they saw me around.
What's time?
Like, for a minute, they probably
Yeah.
was like, I don't know about this girl.
Like, is she a stalker?
Right.
Like, what is she doing?
Because I would pop up in New York. I would pop up in Philly. Popped up in West Virginia. I popped up at one of Questlove's DJ sets in Miami. And he was like, what? What are you doing here? So it turns into like, I don't know where I'm going to see you, but I'm pretty sure I will see you somewhere. So they were familiar with me. So I got to shoot them a lot. Like, it started off like the first 3 songs, because that's what they usually give photographers for the most part, or less. But now,
wow, that's interesting.
yes, only the first.
The first 3 songs. Yep.
And if you're in the photo pit at certain venues, it's only the first 3 songs, and then either you have to leave and put your camera. If you're there for the show You can't bring your camera out. Sometimes they let you shoot from the crowd. Sometimes you're not supposed to, but sometimes they let you. Or like if it's like a larger venue, like what's that they call? Like Verizon Center,
Yeah,
aka
whatever it is
MCI
today.
Center,
Right.
aka Capital One,
AKA whatever.
AKA the Department of Records before they.
AKA whoever's paid them
Right.
money for the naming rights. Yeah.
Right.
So with them, you know, you shoot your first 3 songs or whatever they give you, then they literally escort you out of the arena. If you're staying for the show, then they will take you to guest services so you can check your camera.
Whoa.
If you're not staying for the show, thank you, good night, get out.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I've always wanted to know this because my goal in life is to get into the photo pit. What is it like in the photo pit?
Depends on what pit you're in.
Is it competitive?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on who you're shooting, what you're shooting, how, you know, some people, they allow a lot of people. Like at least, I don't know how COVID's going to change this, but at least like, I'm trying to think of one I can use that's a good one that's not a festival.
Fillmore. I only said that because that's the last time I saw her like working.
Yeah. So and it was at where? What was that? Where was it at?
At the Fillmore.
What show?
Roots.
It was Roots show.
Like, do you just have Questlove's number on speed dial at this point? Are you
No.
like buds? No?
No.
Dang.
He knows. I mean, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool. So let's see, the pit. I'm trying to think of a good. Oh, you said Fillmore. I mean, you can't use that one because I was the lone photographer the entire show that night. So like,
Oh, well, what about 9:30?
all right. So I'll use I shot Megan Thee Stallion there for like I think it was PGC's birthday bash.
Okay.
And you've been to the 9:30.
Yes.
So you've seen it when there is a pit,
There's a pit
and when there's
no
not a pit.
Yep.
So this was like,
I mean, it's still only about like that big.
right, but this one was half of if it was a pit,
Yeah. Oh, this was like mini pit?
and there was so I had myself, and then there was like the radio people,
Mhm.
photographers, videographers. So there was a lot of people in the pit where it could get kind of hectic because everyone's trying to get a shot that's different. But I'm like, it's all going to be the same because we're in the same place.
Right.
And we're standing here. Now, occasionally you'll see, if you ever see me in a pit, you may see me here, but you may see me all the way at the opposite ends as well, because like that's where I'm going to get the angles that I want, or something that's not just straight on.
Mm-hmm.
Plus I'm short, so I kind of go to the side. But, you know, some pits are more competitive. 9:30, it could get hustle and bustle. Festivals are more hectic because you have at least 12 to 15 people in this pit. It's a larger pit.
Yeah.
But there's still security. You got people coming up from their stage diving or whatever. So you gotta watch out for people. You gotta watch out for security.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for the artists' friends that decide they want to be in the pit. You gotta watch out for the people that just have a cell phone. And you're like, why are you in here?
Yeah.
You know, you got all your
But
gear.
they're legit people, but they just have a cell phone, or they just
Sometimes.
right.
Like, are those like professionals? Or are they just people?
Sometimes they're just people with somebody's crew that's doing social media.
Got you. Yep.
And I'm like, y'all have a better angle wherever y'all at,
Yeah.
not out here. But I digress. So it depends. Like some guys are really, 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 pardon my French, dicks
Yeah.
to women photographers.
Oh. Wow.
I've had a lot of guys mansplain things to me or attempt to, and I'm like,
What?
they're like, oh, well, you should do this, or you should do that, or no, this is my space, or you should, you know, let me show you how to use that camera. Or like early on, I remember I was someplace, oh, you need to be over here. Why are you way over there? Because I want to be.
Right.
Let me show you how to use that camera.
So I mean,
I'm sorry, man. Like, on behalf of right.
You gotta
And
apologize.
on behalf of men, and particularly men photographers in the pit that you're going to come up to, and I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm
it's
so
not all of. Some of them are really cool. Some of them are not. I mean, but again, it's everyone's personality.
Yeah.
And then,
But by and large, is there a big difference between men and women photographers? Like, especially like, you know, music photographers.
I think so. I mean, I can only speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I know how I view an artist. I'm going to try to use one in a specific one. Maxwell.
Yeah.
Let's use Maxwell.
I know.
So I basically shoot a lot of artists that I enjoy personally.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so for me, it's like I'm going to photograph you the way I see you in my head, or
Okay.
how I vibe to you.
Okay.
Oh, wow,
And
that's great, yeah.
so usually, like I said, first three. All right, so Maxwell was at.
Were you at Kennedy when he did that show?
I didn't shoot that show, but I was there.
I was there too. I was mad that there was no cameras. I was like, I was mad.
It was a great show.
That was a great
It was
show.
awesome.
It was a fantastic show.
Maxwell, you did a really great job with the show.
You were, yes.
Awesome.
And if you ever are photographing him in town again, I'm gonna leave you my number.
Maxwell
I'll carry
Bad
your
Boy,
equipment, whatever you want me to do. I'll bring you water.
I've only encountered. Okay, well, I met him I did a Tower Inn store a long time ago now, but I only met him one time. That was interesting.
Yeah, I don't even need to meet him. I just want to be like close up to like hi, because I had like good seats, but you know, he's just a beautiful man. So I'm saying, so you know,
So
I'm
Bad
volunteering.
boy. I give it to you.
So, all right, so with Maxwell, I shot him at I'll use Coney Island.
Okay.
So that was an amphitheater, so that was a larger thing, and you know I don't get control of lighting or anything, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know his stage five. I personally normally before I shoot someone, if they're on a tour, I like to look at like YouTube and see if there's any videos so I
that's
can
great.
kind of study what they do and what hand their mic,
Yeah.
what hand they hold the mic in, so I'm not on that side and all I get is like a bunch of mic shots.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's, yeah.
So with Maxwell, all that went out the window. I get there, I was like, okay, the lighting's cool, but I knew I wanted to capture more of a more of a sensual, softer side. Whereas a guy's like, here he is, I'm gonna take his picture. This light looks nice. Guys I don't think they do the same thing with everything. Like maybe if it's a woman, they might,
Okay.
or maybe if it's like a rock group or somebody like that. But I don't. For me, I put a lot of my personal feelings into
Okay.
how I capture.
So you would say it's sort of like it can be. Sometimes the approach can feel like it's more like a documenting kind of a thing than it is a.
Yeah, if you look at my some of my work, you would notice that it looks more like a portrait
It's
session.
very intimate. Yes. Yeah.
the
All
picture
your photos.
the picture you took of Erykah Badu.
Which one? The one she looks like a saint.
Yeah, that's from. I mean, that's still like burned in my memory from like 2-3 years ago. It's an amazing photograph because what sort of comes through when I look at this picture is like the mythology behind Erykah, but like the photograph sort of encapsulates a performance, a moment in time, but also all of this like her like she'll turn the guy. Look, man, she like Common messed around with her. And next thing you know, he's doing macrame pants, man. You know what I mean?
I have photos of him
Messing
in
with
the
people's
pants.
grips, huh?
I have photos of him in those pants when they did the 930 club.
Yeah.
He was doing like windmills on the floor. He had on his crocheted hat, his crocheted hat.
Ah. I mean, she's got like a whole thing, and that
Yeah.
picture just was like,
Yeah, because when I went to see the photos you did, the group exhibition at Art of Noise, they were all like very intimate, like very like close up, like, and you could tell that this was a concert, but it was almost like somehow it was like just you and the artist, like everything else kind of faded out, and I'm like, how, like they're perfectly, and also, and I know you don't have control over the lighting, but the way you shoot Black people, thank you. Just let me say thank you. Because they're beautiful. And it's, lighting at some of these shows, like 9:30 Club, love y'all, but your lighting is never the best. But yeah, like you always just seem to catch the perfect moment. And it's just.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I try. Sometimes it's hard.
Yeah. And is it hard if you don't like the artist? If you're just like this is a job, like I don't like your music, I think you're a terrible person, I just want to click and go.
I've had moments like that, and I've had the I don't want to, I'm just gonna whatever. And I felt that it showed.
Okay.
It showed
to
your
me
work.
in my work.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, I've had someone like, no, that's a great picture, but I guess for me, being that I know the feeling that I had when I took that, I felt that it translated. So now, even if I try to shoot people outside of the R&B and rap and soul genre, I try to mix it up because, truth be told, I'm a 9 Inch Nails fan.
Yeah,
I love 9 Inch Nails.
yeah.
So I'm trying to think of someone that I shot when I changed let me see if I can, not fake it, because that's a horrible word. Here's what I do. I know I have to take pictures, it's a duo.
Okay.
And I know one of the members I don't really care for. And I know I have to take pictures of the duo. I found that I did, and I was like, ugh. But I got the angle that I wanted, and I was like, all right, you good. And then I focused on the other member and some couple of group joints, but more so the other person.
Yeah.
And so I worked through it. It's better now. I can, because I'll accept an assignment or with an artist music I may not be into.
Right.
But I try, usually I find at least one thing that makes me go, okay.
Okay, so you can usually find a hook for each person.
Sometimes.
That's good advice for photographers that want to get in that field. Like, I mean, that level of professionalism. I mean, because I'm thinking about like press people who have to interview, like in the last the last administration. Thinking about like.
Right,
I'm thinking about your Michelle Sender actually. So I'm thinking about in April. I can't remember her last name right now.
Oh, you talking? I know you're talking about. I can't think of her last name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, just like how Yamisha would just be like poker faced with it. Now after now new administration, like it starts coming out. Her feelings, but like they're there to do a story. They're there to ask questions.
To April Ryan.
I think so. Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
There to ask questions and stuff, and so it's. I think that what you're saying is for photographers that are just starting, that level of professionalism.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna go in there and go, I really don't like you. I don't know why I'm here. Because again, it's gonna show. It's gonna show on you. It's gonna show through your work. You're gonna not like what you shot. You're not gonna like anything. It's gonna be so negative that you just like.
Right. It'll show.
So what do you think you have a signature? Like, if you put your work down, someone else's, like, what would make you?
I don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see it?
I don't see it. I've had other people that go, oh, I know that's a Vicky Ford. I know that's a Sneakshot.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't remember this. I don't know.
How? I don't know. I don't see it.
Well, what do they say? Like, what do they see in your work?
The angles and sometimes they said the detail or the black people, how vibrant, how they pop. And I was like, okay, but anybody can do that. And they're like, yeah, but not like you. And I was like, okay, I'll take it, I guess. But I don't think I have a signature style anymore. Back in 07, I was hitting those sides.
Well, so to not give away your trade secrets, like does this happen in the process of like how you edit the shots, like you make?
some things in camera, and then sometimes yes, but I don't change a lot. You know how some photographers will add sparkle, add this or do that.
Right.
I don't do too much of that. If anything, I'll play with some of the maybe tones and contrast and stuff. I don't fully change the whole thing, the whole image. And again, my brain is weird. I like, for us brown people, I like us to be glowy and dewy.
Yeah.
I don't want us to look all ashen. Even when you're ashy, I'm gonna try to make you not ashy.
Well, like some of Spike Lee's early movies, he had a way of sort of depicting brown people's skin. Like I don't know enough about like the mechanics of shooting to say like whether it's a filter or whatever it is, but
there's always a colorist or a color person. But I am a large Spike Lee fan. I love Spike Lee. Yeah, my mother never understood it, but I love Spike Lee. I had to photograph him at once.
Wow.
What?
I love Spike Lee.
Okay. We don't need to catch that on camera. That's okay.
No, he's a very interesting man.
Yeah.
And to be in his presence is really kind of it's cool. And he's knowledgeable. And then for me, I was working with it was Centric TV, which is now BET Her.
Okay.
Yeah, they went. Centric was BET's like second thing that they were doing, and that didn't work out that way, so they were trying to figure something else. But they it was one of the something anniversaries of Do the Right Thing, and right when it wasn't Eric, it was someone who just passed or who was murdered from some police thing. I can't remember. I think it was Eric. I can't remember exactly who it was, but the assignment was to go to 40 Acres, and they were interviewing him, and I was doing more of like the behind the scenes stuff. And as a Spike Lee fan, going into 40 Acres.
For sure.
Wow.
And then seeing the props from, like the posters from She's Gotta Have It, and the, do you remember Bamboozle?
Yeah.
He had the bomb,
Wow.
the soda's still there, and a
yeah.
bunch of other things, and then the church sign from Red Hook Summer. So seeing all these movie things was like actually really inspiring for me even more to photograph him.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. That was a pretty cool experience.
So so who would be on your wish list? I mean, you got Spike Lee, so who else would be on your list? Like, if I ever get the assignment, I want to photograph.
I don't know. I've maybe more so a portrait session now with more people, because I've photographed a lot of my bucket list. Grace Jones was on my bucket list.
You shot Grace Jones?
Yeah, when she was at Africa. Lenny Kravitz was on my bucket list. I've shot Lenny. I photographed Lenny a few times.
I love it.
New Edition. No. New Edition was on my bucket list. Okay, all right. So, low key, I am a New Jack Swing fanatic.
Okay.
If I could have got Jodeci.
Ooh.
I am also a Jodeci fanatic, because let me tell you something funny. So this pandemic did something strange. I fell down this Jodeci rabbit hole.
Okay.
And it was way deeper than I've ever fallen into. Like, I was reading things, and I was like, you know what? That Vibe magazine that they were on when Devontae had the Vogue in his mouth, I was like, I used to have that. I need that again. So I ended up buying the 1993 Vibe magazine with an article with them in it. It had Rosie
You
Perez.
fell down deep.
It had Rosie Perez on the cover, and then Maxwell is actually in the next section in there back in '93 for anyone knew who he was. And I was like, oh, that's cool. All right. And then I sat there because I actually have a plethora of old like Vibe magazines and Trace magazines, and I was like, all right, are you willing to get rid of all of my Vibes to find that one Jodeci with Devontae with the Vogue in his? So I found it recently, and I got into a bidding war.
Oh,
How much did you pay for this?
Way more than what I should. I want it. I got it. But way more than what I should have. But again, I have it. And so the cover of what is it? The second album, Diary of a Madman, right? My rabbit hole got so deep that I ended up reaching out to the photographer that shot it, and I bought the print.
Oh my gosh!
So
Wow!
I bought the print and I took it to get it custom framed. I don't even custom frame my own stuff. I got it custom framed, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's lovely. I love it.
Right.
But I love it that you don't even have your own stuff framed, but you're like,
I don't have my own stuff hanging in my house.
None of it?
I had one thing up one time. I had a picture of Dave Grohl.
Love him.
That I shot that I love.
Yeah.
And I met him and I asked him to sign it. He signed it. Mm-hmm. So I put it in some random frame and I hung it on the wall. And that was it. Like that was the, and then recently I took it down because I had to move. I was moving another print of something over.
Was
and
you
I
making room for Jodeci?
No, Jodeci's in the bedroom. So, I couldn't think of any other kind of thing. I have nothing on my wall, but I was like, okay, actually that's only thing I have on the wall is this one random print, and then I have prints. So I have the Purple Rain poster in my little dining room area, and in my hallway I have the Purple Rain poster is about the size of this print. Okay, this art piece right here. So Purple Rain is that size. Sign of the Time print is about that size, and Under the Cherry Moon is about that size.
Wow.
We don't talk about Graffiti Bridge because it doesn't exist.
It is about 60 inches. About 60 inches by about
40, maybe.
About 60 by 40.
Yeah, maybe like
35
that.
40, 36 by 60.
Something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But again, none of my work. But so my Jodeci rabbit hole, like I would love actually to shoot Jodeci. And
if Jodeci now, or like if you could,
if I could time
Jodeci
warp,
back then,
if I could time warp, I want Jodeci then. Jodeci now, I just would love to do poetry session with Devontae. Just
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Okay.
I just feel like he has a story. I mean, of course he has a story.
Yeah.
But I just think now that he's not in the public eye, it would make it a little more interesting to capture who he is now. Because I think he's a production genius. You know, he has, like, my rabbit hole went far. I found an article that some woman wrote back in, I think, between 2016 and 2018. That was really great. It was a really, really great article. And then I found that he did some work with a gospel group.
Oh, wow.
It was him, I can't remember, was it commissioned? I can't remember who it was. But it was a gospel group, and it was him and Raphael Sadiq did production on it.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, okay. But you know his
Have you ever got anything of Raphael Sadiq before?
I photographed him a couple of times.
He strikes me as an interesting cat.
Yeah, excuse me. I never met him, but I did photograph him during his like his timepiece when he was doing like the 50s, 60s style.
Yeah.
When he didn't have any hair. Yeah. Right, yeah. And then just recently, before the pandemic at the 930 Club.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What was he?
He was here slightly before. Yeah. Off the new album that came out. Yeah. It was a good show. It was a really good show. He mixed it in really well with the Tony stuff and the
See, that was my era. Tony stuff.
Yeah.
But see, I was too young like to be going to shows. Like if I could time warp, I want to go back to like when all those groups were out and go to all the shows.
Yeah, but I saw Tony. Thanks, Mom. But no, okay, so I'm gonna give you a bucket list. Everybody's not gonna be living on it.
Okay.
Jim Morrison.
Wow.
You already know Jodeci.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you mentioned one. Janis Joplin was one.
Oh.
Who else? I can't think of it. I do that every time someone asks me. I'm like, oh, you know what? I forgot about such and such. It's just it's a strange question for me because, like I said, thinking back early on, like I was like, oh, I'd kill if I could shoot Lenny Kravitz, or if I could really get some good shots of the Roots, or if I could shoot Jill Scott, or get New Edition. Oh, I love New Edition. I want to really shoot them, and I've done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, there's no like new like up and comers that you're like, oh, okay, like.
Luke James was one.
Okay.
But I mean, I would love to shoot Luke James again. But a lot of the people that I may want to have on my bucket list now are not necessarily artists.
Okay.
They be, you know, like, do you watch? I'm pretty sure you do. Do you watch Queen Sugar?
Yes.
So like the guy that plays Kofi, that I would love to shoot him, photograph him. And then now, you know, it's also like friends. Like, hey, friend, let's shoot. So my taste is slowly like changing.
Yeah. So are you like over the music pit? Are you like been there, done that? It's obnoxious, it's hot, it's whatever. Like I want to do something else.
Okay, I will say I was hitting a burnout before the pandemic, and I almost like you know what? Let's hang this thing up. I'm
really
done.
Like done.
Like
I
done.
don't want to take pictures anymore.
Wow.
That's tired. That's yeah.
Because it was the hustle and the bustle, and sometimes I don't want to like keep going emailing back and forth to get a press pass or do this or do that. Like
Yeah.
And I don't have to do it as much, but you know, certain artists like I'd be like, I want to shoot Motley Crue.
Wow.
That is that's my bucket list.
Really?
Yeah, I've taken pictures of Tommy Lee, but Motley Crue as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
So or in Slash. Oh, and Travis Barker from Blink-182.
Wow.
So my list is weird, but I always forget about my rock list because I usually just zone in on my the R&B
your
list.
R&B stuff.
So, but yeah, I almost hung it up before the pandemic, and then in March of last year, I actually I had COVID, and I was like, okay, we're gonna sit down, and then my industry shut down all the way because I work at a venue, and then I was like, okay, so now what? And then you know, I shoot concerts,
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay, what do I pivot to? Do I look at my past body of work and try to do something with that, or do I? And then I was like, you know, you're gonna sit down. You know, sit down and just sit. So luckily, some friends of mine, they have this live stream series called Small Wooden Box, and what it is it's a concert series that features local artists in the area.
Wait a minute, I haven't heard of this. I'm writing this down. Wait, are they still doing it?
Yeah, actually, coincidentally, the second season kicks off on in 3 days on June 30th.
Make a note of that. Okay, thank you for that tip.
No problem. And our next, Flex,
Yeah.
Flex Matthews.
Flex Matthews?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's doing the one on June 30th.
And this is all sort of genres of music?
Yeah, they do all genres of music. So they've had, who did they have so far? They had this girl named Flazia. Are you familiar with her?
Don't know
She's
that.
a young rapper. Like I think she's like 10.
Oh,
maybe,
so you mean real young?
Yeah, she's like between 8 and 10.
Oh, okay.
But she's really cool. She's really cool, really
Yeah.
dope. And she's for the community, about the community. They've had her on there. They've had DJ Gina Marie, if you're familiar with her. They've had this artist named, what is her name? Does she go by Mega Luch? I think she goes by Mega Luch. But she was really cool. so they've had rappers and singers and Dante Pope. Are you
Dante Pope. I mean, the man just had a baby, but he's like everywhere.
Yeah.
I follow him on Instagram, so I'm like, he just came up with something not too long ago, and I'm like,
Yeah, he has this, so Dante Pope was one of the featured artists at Small Wooden Box, and that actually blossomed into us kind of not working together, but he purchased some of the photos that I shot. But I'll say he licensed them for the most part. And so one of them I think he's using for a single or something. I know he's used them on his website.
nice. Okay, just a brief aside. If you could let him know if he could get back with Red Line Graffiti and if they could do something.
Oh, I don't even know if they still exist.
Well, I mean, they did something like some B-side. It was an EP, like a 3-single EP, late last year, maybe. And because I love them. You know, but you know, I know they're all out doing different things, and he's like super busy, and I know they've all branched out. But I'm always hopeful.
Well, maybe after everybody comes together, because
Keeping
Yes,
bands
stop having
together can
babies.
be so tough.
And
Particularly COVID was.
yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, if you see him, be like, yo,
Yeah.
well, his album release also is on, I think, the 30th.
it's coming up. Yeah.
It's on the 30th, I think, at the Eaton. Hotel.
Long thing.
really?
Yeah. So
Nice.
there's that.
I'm gonna tell him myself, like, yo, like, congrats and everything.
But can you please
where are your boys?
Right.
Yes.
So Small Wooden Box has been doing that.
Okay.
And so they asked me to come and take photos. So that kind of, it motivated me to go, okay, all right. And it also tested me to, even though I was like one of the only photographers there, but there's still some other ones, but I was like, how do I maneuver in this small space?
Where do they record?
Right.
So one of the gentlemen, one of the partners that's in it, he has a loft. It's small wooden box. It's a fly loft, but it's a small wooden box.
Okay.
So doing that actually helped me see other artists I didn't know about. So I discovered new people as well. So it was like this one girl, I had no idea she existed. Jenna Camille.
Yeah.
Jenna Camille.
I said, okay, not because she did her lovely, lovely mixes of whatever music she creates, and they had a Jodeci joint. That made me love her a little bit more. And then she also had one that had little Christopher Williams in there. Made me love. I was like, okay. So she drew you in.
Right.
And then she uses a lot of like older soul and or like 90s hip hop and R&B. So I was like, okay. And she was a doll. She was a great person. So they do that. I don't know how often they're going to do it. Starting if it's going to be weekly. I think it's like every other week.
Okay.
But the first one back is June 30th.
I'll be checking that one out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so is your, because you have photographed huge names, been to pretty much all the festivals, and then do you still enjoy these local shows? I mean, I know you just talked about the Small Wooden Box, or, is it like a totally different vibe if it's not like a big name, or is it like they're all musicians, they're all...
No, everybody has their thing. Like, I'll use Jenna. While listening to her, I didn't get a chance to listen to her music beforehand, but experiencing a new artist that's really good is awesome. Like, it motivated me more while I was shooting. And also when I had the opportunity to photograph her again, it made me go, okay, now I know how I want to see you, like how I want to capture you, how I want your photos to be, like what your tone will be, Big name people, they're fun, but they're just as fun as a local artist for the most part.
Yeah.
Only difference is, they're a bigger name, their songs more.
Right.
Whereas with the local artists, you may not know their songs, but they may exude way more energy than the seasoned professional artists.
Yeah.
Like, I will say sometimes I don't shoot a lot of like the newer hip hop artists, so like the Blueface or artists that will make me want to fight their audience.
Right.
Okay.
Because they don't care. They don't care that you have a camera. They don't care that, you know, you're there to do a job.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Who is
Never been to shows like that, thank goodness.
Ooh. See, you wouldn't go there. I wouldn't particularly think I would catch you at the little Uzi Vert show.
Yeah, nope.
I mean, I don't mean no shade on Uzi Vert, but
He's actually not bad.
Yeah.
He's interesting. And the only reason why I shot him I photographed him I keep trying to see. I photographed him at one of the Roots picnic.
Okay.
And he had a very interesting outfit on. And I was like, okay. I wasn't sure if I was like, this is a little Marilyn Manson-esque outfit. But he put on a show. He was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then there was some rapper at the Anthem. I don't think who they were opening for. I think were they opening for Machine Gun Kelly? And I think they might have been. He was entertaining, but his songs were kind of like lackluster.
Okay.
It was kind of like, oh, okay, well, you're just starting out. Okay, this is
Yeah.
you're. I want to see you grow. Now, the one gentleman that I photographed that I went head over heels for, who I stand, and I have not heard me say that word since I've been sitting here.
Yeah.
And everybody that knows me knows. And somebody, whenever someone listens to this, they're gonna already say the name because I'm still talking. Miguel. I am
Really? He's so amazing live.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. I just watched this video before I came over here randomly.
So the first time that I saw Miguel was he was opening for Mary J. Blige out at, I think it was it Nissan or Merriweather? It was unseasonably cold, and it was the last show of the season, and I was like, why are you out here? It's cold, y'all. This is outside. It was like in late September, early. I was like, it's cold. Why? Why are you in the why? So I went with, I was covering for Kim Hines, Soulbounce. And I guess her regular photographer wasn't able to do it. So I was like, I'm available.
Right.
I like Mary J. Blige. What do you think about Miguel? I like Mary J. Blige. And it was Mary J. Blige, El DeBarge, and Miguel.
El DeBarge.
Oh, that is a lineup. Ooh.
So we went out there, and she had to conduct 2 interviews. She was interviewing El and Miguel, and that was cool. But Miguel's personality is what won me over.
Yeah.
He was so warm and inviting,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I saw his performance, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But the next time I saw him, it's like every time I saw him, he
was at a different place.
He kicked it up a level.
Yeah.
So, first time he had on like some sweatpants and like some little flowy shirt and a little scarf.
Because they had no budget. They're like, we're not giving you money.
But within a couple of months time, I saw he opened up for Usher on Usher's OMG tour at Verata, whatever it is, MCI Center. And
That's how you know she's a Washingtonian. Remember when it was MCI Center.
So he opened up for him, and it's like, oh, your clothing got a little different here. It was it was a little interesting. But I was like, your clothing was different, and you have lights. And then right after that, he had his own show at Howard Theater. That was amazing. His light show was amazing. The fact that he even had lights was amazing. Because most artists come, they don't have any.
Yep.
Like he had a whole special light thing, and
okay.
so I was like, okay, so your company believes in you. They're putting
they're giving you some money.
And every time since then, even up to now, it gets better and better. And so it was like his personality. I want you to win. You're gonna win. You good. That boy's good.
right. I want you to win, right.
So I became a fan. So every time I shoot him a photograph, I'm gonna fix it one day. Every time I photograph him, personally, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my time. I know there's like 40 other people
Yeah.
on the or whatever on the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
side,
yeah.
but these are my moments.
Right. Right.
There's one photo of him that I shot. I was in New York. I had a group exhibition I was in.
Mm-hmm.
He was in New York at the time at Terminal 5, this big venue, and his guitarist then, Drew, we became cool. I'm still cool with Drew. I haven't talked to him for a while though, but Drew was like, "Hey, we're here. You want to come? You can bring your camera, but I don't know about all that past stuff."
Yeah.
He was like, "I can get you in. You pirate the rest of
Right,
it."
right.
So I'm looking at the time. I'm like, I'm on this panel for a show, an exhibition I'm in, and I'm just like, got this stuff, man. I got to go. And so after we're talking, we're taking pictures. I was like, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So I roll out. I take I get a camera and my small 50mm lens. My brain is like, take the longer lens, but I was like, no. So I get there. This is terrible. So I get there, have my camera. They like check me, and I was like, they was like, you have a camera. I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to have a photo pass. And so he was like, because if I didn't, I had to bring a camera. So I had a VIP pass, and at the time I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
I don't know what that means. And so I get there, and they're like, oh, so I can go upstairs on the balcony level. So I'm at the balcony. It's like a little bar. So I'm sitting on this stool, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing. And then I got really sad. This is the one tour I'm not going to say officially photographed with a real press pass. It was the Wild Heart tour.
Yeah.
And his stage show was amazing. And he had on like this fringe jacket. And he know how to work a fringe.
He does know how to work a fringe. It is impressive.
So I didn't.
Fringe skills.
It was like fringe jacket, microphone had fringe. But the part that made me sad was watching the other photographers walk into the pit. And I was like, oh, man, this sucks. I'm up here watching. I'm up here watching. I want to be down there with them.
Yeah,
And then I was like, all right. But after, they walked out, I had my camera, even though I was up in the balcony.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I don't know what these shots are going to be this big. I'm not going to really like them. They'll just be used for social media. But he decided to crowd surf.
Ooh.
And I had some really, really good shots of that moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
The video of that moment is crazy. So I literally have a camera in one hand and my phone trying to videotape in the other, and it's it's not fun. But that was
That sounds amazing.
it was fun. It was fun. I was happier when I looked at like, all right, it's a little greedy because I'm far, but it works. It works.
So has living in DC influenced you at all, like as a photographer?
It's weird because I'm gonna say yes and no, because my mindset very early on was I was never really in the go-go scene. Like I kind of skipped that because
how did that happen?
Easy, because when the heyday of go-go was really, really popping, I was like 12. I 12 and 13, 13, 14, and also I am a parent of two, and I had my two very early.
Okay.
I was 15 and 16.
Okay.
So I mean, granted, I still went outside and did my parent duties, whatever. But the go-go scene never really latched on to me because I was too young to go.
Okay.
I appreciate it. And I remember seeing Junkyard and Tougher Than Leather when I went to the theater. I was like, okay.
Right.
I remember getting there. I have some PA tapes, but this is going to sound crazy, and I can't believe I'm pulling this card. I personally have never been to a go-go. Yep.
And you're from DC.
And I'm from here. But
even now?
Well, go now.
Go-go now is a little different.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, even just like Rare Essence or
if I'm okay, so like the Summer Spirit Festival always had a go-go component to it. So I would see Chuck when he was alive. So I was like, I've seen Chuck Brown. Now they use they would do Essence. I'm like, okay, I've seen Essence. So I've seen it in that
Okay.
in a festival setting.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, but not at a
you know,
Gold
even
Club.
like I was like not in a club.
Gotcha.
So I didn't go to the Black Hole. I knew
Yeah.
where the Ibex was.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it to Triples. So the Ritz. I was, and then by that time, I was shifted into like the New York hip hop.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So my mindset was New York because I wanted to move to New York when I was younger because I wanted to be a recording engineer because I knew they knew all the stuff and
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's
no,
so
it's not.
cool.
I'm gonna tell you a really dumb story that I have not told too many people, but I will share because it's so stupid.
Gonna be an engineer.
I wanted to be an engineer. My friend and I, we used to always talk about, yeah, we're gonna go up to New York. We're gonna go to recording engineer school. Now, mind you, I had not one iota of information about audio, nothing. I didn't know nothing,
Right.
but I knew that I wanted to
You
be a
were
recording
right.
engineer because you're in the studio, you push the buttons, you make things happen. Oh, this gets better.
Because you saw it on those liner notes. You were like, that.
Yep. This gets even better. Actually, it gets worse. So my friend and I will not say her name to protect her.
Oh, wow.
We used to do these like crazy things, and so a friend of mine was like, "Yo, your boy at the Hit Factory tonight," and I was like, "Who?" Devontae.
Ooh.
I was like, "A word." So mind you, this is the age of no internet.
Yep.
We like called 411 to get the number to the Hit Factory, and I was like, "No, girl, we can find it on the back of one of these lines." So we called the Hit Factory. Now,
You go.
We called.
Oh.
No, we didn't go. We called. And my friend was the scaredy cat. I was the vocal one. I got put up to do everything.
I can see that.
So she calls on her three-way, and she's like, "I'm gonna call, I'm gonna go on mute." Long story short, we called the Hit Factory. They actually patched me through to.
Really?
Wow.
I don't know what the. Well, I'm gonna ask this man. Hi.
Oh my God.
What did you say? Like,
Hi. I have a question. I want to be a recording engineer. Can you tell me what I need to do?
Oh,
did he hang up?
man.
No, he was like, he was
Who
like, no, he was very kind. He was like, well, you know, leave your number with the receptionist, and I'll get back to you.
Man.
But the funny thing was, after we got the phone, we were like, oh my gosh. I was like, why you make me do this? I blamed her. I could have said no. But the funny thing was he never called, which we did not expect. But after the second album, Diary of a Madman came out, I think it was My Heart Belongs to You was playing in the background when I called.
Yeah.
So when we heard, I was like, oh!
Hey man, that's living. You know what I mean? That's
amazing.
I really think that things like that are important because that summons the universe to you, to the things that you're looking to do. It's like, oh, okay, that's what you like. I think like it's like half of this stuff is like, you know, when they say make believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I kind of feel like, you know, you hear so many artists that say like, well, you know, when I was 10, I used to, you know, pretend I was in the band, and then they, you know,
Later on,
they got a
Yeah.
band or whatever. I really think that there's something to that.
Well,
it could still happen.
I know what's involved. I'm like, oh no.
Like, that's not for me.
Like back then, I was like, I wanted to be a recording engineer. Then it turned to a tour manager. I actually still am interested in that part of it.
Mhm.
Oh,
Um,
boy, that's rough.
I know babysitting. Babysitting adults.
That's rough.
It's assisting.
And you gotta take your vitamins, man. Oh God.
Well, I mean, I never pursued it, but I do know one of the dopest tour managers around,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never really tapped into her, asked her anything. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be Tina Ferris. I don't know if you're
Wait,
familiar
what
with
do I
her.
know that name?
Tina Ferris. She's Did you watch this Netflix movie?
See, that's why
recently?
this name is ringing a bell.
Did you watch the Daughters or something like? It's a Netflix movie a documentary about mothers and daughters. Did you watch that? She's
in
in
it.
that. She's in it.
Okay, that's why I knew that name. Okay, because I'm like, wait a minute. Oh.
So I've never, I was an annoyance to her. I probably still am. But, I never asked her that part. I'm like, yeah, she's busy. I'm not bothered with it. I mean, one day maybe before I'm like 50, I do it. But, it's one of those things that's like, hey, this stays in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so now you know my Devontae story. Not everyone does.
Yeah, no, that is hilarious. But I did want to circle back. I mean, we went all over. No, but that's fine. No, but one of the things, so, after T said that he knew you, and I'd seen your work, and I realized that I'm like, oh, I've probably been at some of the same shows, but I didn't know, because the shows that I've been, so the pit has always been so fascinating to me. And I'm always like, I want to be in the pit, because it just seemed like that's where all the action is, like you get the best shots. I have to worry about like tall people. Like it just seems from an out,
I felt that way at one point when I was watching, when I was on the other
Yeah.
side. But I feel that the person who's belly up against the barricade has the best spot, because after we leave, the show didn't stop.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's still like, somebody may run out.
Yes.
Somebody may do something really cool.
Yeah.
So, but we don't get that.
Right. Yeah, but it just seemed, like they're so close to the band, they're probably in the back, and it just seemed very, it just seemed very glamorous to me. But the one thing I couldn't help but notice, number one, never that many female photographers. There were maybe, if there was any, there was like one, sometimes two. And it always seemed all the men were like in this wolf pack, and the women were like over here. Like the women would come in, pick their spots, click, click, clickety clack, and then they're gone. Whereas the men are all jostling, for position and stuff. So I'm just curious if, so as a woman and as a Black woman doing this, I mean, I know you can only speak from your experience, but do you feel that you were given do you feel that you get the same opportunities as the white men in the pit?
No, not all the time. I'm a very, you can't tell, but in certain situations, I tend to go into myself, and I'm a little shyer, and now I'm not gonna say meek, but I kind of don't want to get in anybody's way. I don't want to step anybody's toes. I don't want to offend anyone. I just want to, do my job and get my shots. Yeah. That doesn't always work in that world. Sometimes you have to be kind of bitchy and assertive and like, hey, no, you're not gonna, no. Don't you see me here? I am here.
Yeah, sure.
And I've had to do that at a lot of festivals because, you get some old guy up in there who has maybe 25, 30 years of photography.
Feels like it's the title.
Right.
Yeah.
Got all the gear.
Right.
And then they see a woman that has just, maybe a camera, a lens, nothing they're not bogged down like they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And immediately it's like, oh, she don't know what she's doing.
Right.
She doesn't know this. And you don't know what I know because you don't know me. You don't talk.
Right.
You're assuming. And so you're going to assert oh, I'm such. I'm going to be here.
Right.
No. No. I feel that a lot of, sometimes, this happens with the Black photographers too, but usually it's the vets that they feel like they are titled to be here. And I mean, and even in this case right now, some people say that I'm a vet. And I know in the pit, I've encountered newer women photographers. Two in particular, in the DC area stand out. One name is Jada and the other one's name is China. They're amazing, and they're younger. They're the younger girls, but they do what needs to be done, and they're very respectful and protective of their space and what they're doing. And I've seen that they got respect from the guys, so that was really kind of cool to see. Besides, being sometimes the lone wolf, she wolf, in the back.
Right.
It's changing a little bit,
A little bit.
but it also depends on what you're shooting. So for those two ladies, like one works for Broccoli City, and she's like on their staff photography, or for one of their staff photographers. And the other one, Jada she shoots concerts, but she's mainly more so in editorial and portraiture work, and it's dope. So it's just funny seeing how they move within the pit. And even like the last show I shot, I think there was two women, period.
Ooh.
Wow.
Diversity.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes I've been in a pit before where it's like there's at least seven women, and I was like,
Really?
okay. It was a bigger festival.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, I've never seen that.
7 women, and still a bunch of dudes. But and it also depends on where you go. Because I remember I went to Cali, and there was a lot of women there, and most of them knew each other. And then on Facebook, there's 2 women. One lives in Chicago, and I forgot where the other one lives. But they started. Oh, one lives in New York. So I think it's like 3. One lives in Chicago, one lives in New York, and then I forgot where the other one lives. They started a collective called the Photo Ladies.
Okay.
And so it's for women concert photographers from, wherever. And it's kind of like it's a club where we can air our grievances and try to figure out ways to make certain situations better. And to actually, push women photographers, especially in concert photography, because there's not too many of us.
Right.
And there's not too many black ones.
Right.
Yeah, do you think it's changing because, vets are getting old and they're retiring, so just like a younger generation is coming up who are maybe a little bit more progressive, or is it just, what do you count for that change?
I think it's a little bit of that, but it's also some of the vets are bringing on some of the other women in their plays, but they're not women of color.
Like, is it like when you tell people that you're a concert photographer, like what reactions do you normally get? Oh, that face. You get the face.
I get
the what?
I get the face, or I get what else you do.
Right.
And I usually tell people, I was like, well, when I said like I'm a concert photographer, I was like, and even I'm like, I can and I do other things, but my niche or my preference is here. Right. And even with that, some people are like, oh, so you are backstage and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, nah. Because I feel that the camera, as lovely as it is, it's an intrusive object. So, where you have these musicians, celebrities, whatever, backstage, sometimes, there's a photographer back there, snappity, snap.
Right.
But I'm like, they know, they have a rapport, or they're the artist photographer. I'm like, some random person that is backstage, that has a camera, there's some things that they may not want you to capture.
Right.
And
sure.
And I struggle with that because I remember one time I was at some show and I had backstage access and I didn't go back there.
Right.
Because I was like, I feel that I don't belong. I don't belong back there right now. It's not my thing. It's great to have that access because it's a bathroom you can go to and maybe grab a water.
Right.
Nosh on somebody's grape. But, I'm not, it's weird. And, sometimes I want to be back there and just observe. And sometimes I don't.
Yeah. It's a matter of, well, I guess that kind of gets into, like ethics, I suppose. But just respect, just like, you know.
Yeah.
Just respect it, yeah.
I mean, like, again, like, if I was back there and I had a rapport, like, it's my buddy, or we're cool, and I know I can do it,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Would you find, like a kind of a unspoken code?
No, I mean, I think most people kind of know that. I mean, you got those Vogue people. It's like, yo, I got Diddy and Khalid and whatever. I'm gonna get this hot shot.
Okay.
And you know, sometimes you gotta gorilla it.
Mhm.
But for me, I respect the artist's privacy,
Right.
which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Like if I wanted to further my thing and just get some paparazzi shots or get whatever, then no, it's not great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I just believe, like, I'll take case in point. I went to Atlanta recently, and I went down there to photograph. I got it. I went down there to photograph Van Hunt. I love Van.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't know Van Hunt?
Van Hunt.
Oh, we gonna learn you.
Yeah.
You gonna learn you.
Okay. Feel like I'm in trouble.
You actually made, okay, so Van Hunt was out during what they call kind of the neo soul, kind of in that era. He had a song called Dust. I'm not saying it because I have no.
Okay.
So he had a
I will
song
Spotify it.
called Dust and one called Down Here in Hell with You, which it's amazing. But he also wrote Dion Ferris's Hopeless.
Really?
Oh,
Well, that's
Hopeless, a penny with a hole in it. That he wrote that.
Wow.
So Van is a great singer-songwriter, and we're kind of cool now.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Atlanta, and this was my first like show with people.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting, and it's a sit-down spot. Now, during this COVID time, Van started a new relationship, and his lady is Halle Berry, and so she was down there.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
I might have seen it in People magazine.
Yeah, it's been
Sorry, man. I only knew you through that. I had to come at it sideways, but I got there.
It's okay. It's okay. So now you gotta listen to him.
Yes.
So she was down there, and you know, he walks out on stage, and the first thing he says is, "Don't ask me what my lady is." And he wasn't talking to me; he was talking to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my friend I was with, I was like, I cased out. I was right there to the left, sitting a table over, like literally, I'm here. She's right there. Yeah. And so, you know, I texted my friend, and he's like, "Oh, you want to take pictures of it? You going to?" No. She is here enjoying her man,
right.
Probably seeing him perform for the first time because they got together in a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she might have seen him before, but I'm assuming that might have been her first time seeing him perform.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not here to do that. And I felt that's intrusive.
For sure.
So if I would have, like, even if I would have went upstairs, like, after the show and whatever, I still wouldn't have done it.
Right.
Because it's not the place. Like, that's...
Right.
Let this woman enjoy herself as a regular human being. She's a human being.
Right.
Like, when you out with your person, you don't want somebody running up on you.
Hey.
You're like, who are you?
Right.
So, she did see one of my photos of Van, and I got some feedback on it. So,
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
No. This is a good. I can't remember the exact words, but I think sheer perfection, sheer something. It was a good one.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Okay. As an aside, how's she look in person?
Wonderful.
She's just as beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. If not more so.
See, that is just not. She just won the gene pool. That is just not fair. But anyway,
Battery.
I wouldn't think she was 50-nothing.
Yeah, that is amazing. But so we talked about like all these different concerts and all these things. We haven't really talked. So when it comes to like the DC music scene,
Mhm.
how do we stack up? How would you compare us maybe to like a New York or California or?
This different. It's different. I mean, we've had some great artists come from
Mhm.
out of DC throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for what we have to offer, we're just as good as the New York or California person. You know, I mean, back in the day, like way back in the day, we had like, what's that soul group that the Dynamic Superiors. They were we had Marvin Gaye,
Mm-hmm.
who did not really like the city, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. You had this band called Osiris.
Yep, Osiris, I remember them. Was
the
Father's
Unif-
Children? Were they one of them too?
I'm not sure. You had the Unifics. That goes way back to Unifics. Yeah.
So I mean, even up to like, you got your Raheem Devons,
Mhm.
I mean, this is DMV, so I don't do this. So you got like Genuine, because I mean, he is from
Mhm.
here.
Right.
You have like later you have what Gold Link. I love me some Gold Link.
Oh, do
I
you?
love me some Gold Link. So you got like Gold Link,
Yeah.
you have Wale, if you like Wale. So I Odyssey.
Love him.
So you have a good caliber of artists. It's just everybody thinks go-go when you hear
Mhm.
DC. And that's fine. That's that's who we are. But we also have things.
Mhm.
And New York is just a whole different beast. It's different. But everybody still knows the good market. If the DC market likes you, you're pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we're a tough market to crack.
Yeah.
That is very true. Yeah,
DC's a tough crowd.
Yeah, I mean DC is. I don't know. It always seems like we have a chip on our shoulder in some way, but then we're also like, I don't care. Like it's that weird sort of balance, but then we're also like we get pissed when artists don't come here, but when they do, we act like we're not impressed. We don't care.
Yep.
So I'm like, what are you? I mean, we're like as bad as Philly. Like we hate the people we say we love. It's like, what do you want? What do y'all want?
Like my cousin playing band like or whatever it is. It's a weird sort of indifference. Depending on I mean
But it also depends on who it is, because if you have an artist, let's take this artist. If even to this day, if Frankie Beverly comes, half of DC is going to go see Frankie Beverly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A long time I thought he was from DC.
Right, he's not, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, when we latch onto an artist, we latch onto it, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can't do no wrong until you do wrong, and then when you do wrong, we gonna not like you while we sitting there looking at your
Look at you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the venues here also kind of play a role in how people experience and act. Like for me, like I certainly have my preferences in like I don't like MCI, whatever. I mean, and that's big acts, but like the local venues, and I don't know. I think it's also because a lot of people aren't from DC, so they don't, they go to 930 Club and probably go to Anthem, and that's it. So if you can't play at either one of those, they probably don't know who you are, or they don't know where to find you.
There was a good venue that we lost during COVID, which was
Street Music.
Yep.
Cried.
It was a good smaller. So basically, if you kind of watch how it goes, first you play U-Haul, and if you do a couple of good shows and sell out U-Haul, you graduate. You go to 930 Club.
Because it's the same owner.
Well, U-Haul wasn't the same owner, but 930 Club put on a lot of shows there.
Oh, I see.
So like Thundercat did a few shows at U-Haul.
Oh, wow.
Now
he's bigger.
Yeah,
He's too big for
so
that.
now he's doing 930, and he just sold out 2 nights at 930.
Oh, okay.
But then there are some people that skip over all of that and go straight
to the Anthem.
Right, and that's, are you familiar with Mark Ribble? He's,
Oh, yes.
so he sold out the anthem.
Mm-hmm.
And he skipped, well, no, he went U-Haul anthem.
Anthem. Oh.
He skipped over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then, you know, a lot of other things that come into play is what acts come. Because I hear a lot of times people are like, oh, so you have anybody coming to the anthem? Anybody that, you know, we would like? And I understand it, but for a person that listens to all genres, and I'm like, you're pigeonholing yourself, but that's fine. That's you and your taste. But it's like, if you look at more Black or urban whatever acts, they usually are not traveling the independent venue circuit, because you have to still remember 930 Anthem, Merriweather.
All IMP.
It's all IMP, and IMP is a small independent concert.
Yeah, you might not think it is, but
You're right, you might not think. So whereas most of the artists that you know you may want to see or other people may want to see, they're lumped up into the Live Nation mix, which means they go to Live Nation venues. So that's why, you know, if you ever notice, like the Fillmore is heavy on the hip hop.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, 930 used to be, and the Anthem has certain people, but for the most part, it's the Fillmore, because at that time they were, you know, being filtered through that situation. But it's hard. Like, if you're a local artist, like, not that many local openers anymore.
Right.
The tours are coming pre-packaged with an opener and two openers and the main act.
Well, I don't want to, you know, I like to try to keep my band business out of this conversation, but I will mention this. In 2019, so I presented a package to a club. It was our band, Phalo Blue, opening for a band called Death.
I know Death.
Us and Death, and Tamar Kali, who's out of New York, who
I know Tamar.
love her show. So this is the package I come with, right? And this club was like, yeah, who you guys? I was like, we're who we are. I'm not even really talking about us that much. I'm saying it's Death. And, you know, like, I had, like, direct, like, conversations with the people from Death. And they really, like, you know, we got blown off. And it was like, okay, all right, cool. Wound up a year later, well, that was in 2017. That's why I founded The Hut. That, between that experience and the South by Southwest debacle, where they were sending people that ain't from DC down to represent DC, like, both of those things together made me found The Hut and just have local bands play in the theater. Fast forward to 2019, we wound up getting on this bill with Death, where we opened up for them in Philly at the Fillmore and then at the Howard. And that was April of 2019.
How come I didn't know this?
I don't know how you didn't know that. I mean, like,
I was there.
I was not there.
the thing that was crazy is that the people at the Howard afterwards, they were like, man, that was a pretty good show. But they were not in tune with what was happening in DC. Like, they were like, we didn't know, like, Black people were gonna come to a rock show. It was like, dude, call me. Like, I know all the, you know.
So the not to cut you off, but the Howard is booked out of New York.
Out of New York.
Yeah.
So it's not, they don't have that ear to the street.
Yeah.
So to say, so to speak. Wow, I was trying to show it to Howard. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what is up with Howard. I'm like, yo, looking what's
It
happening.
was an interesting night, because it was like, and it was a Rebelmatic. That was the other group out of New York. That was us. That was the bill. Rebelmatic, our band, and Death, and, you know, closed the show. In DC, it was just us and Death in Philly. But it was an interesting conversation with the people in the office there, because, like how you say, they really they had no. They were like coming in from wherever they come from, sit down at the desk and do stuff. They didn't know how to promote it. Didn't know who to send like press stuff to about it or any of that. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and it's like for some of the venues, that I kind of hadn't been going to when I kind of really got into the local music scene. It was honestly through social media and photographs that I would hear about these other venues or hear about these other, about like local bands. And I'm like, oh, like that sounds interesting, because yeah, like this market, I think it is really hard to find, okay, who's playing where, unless it's, 930 Club or Anthem, if they're anywhere else. I mean, I don't know how you find out about things, but
There's another venue that's actually probably pretty good for other stuff that I've been to, which is Union Stage.
Yep.
We play Union
Yeah,
Stage.
yeah, Union
That's
Stage
a
is good.
nice
I like it. It's so like back in my DC Music download days, we did a lot of artist panels there. We did the 5-year anniversary show there. I don't know, with things coming out of COVID, I don't know who's doing what or anything now, but yeah, a lot of those shows, like whenever we were booking a show, it was always, okay, who are we going to get to photograph it? Like that was always like, after we get the acts and get the contracts, it's like, who are we getting to photograph it? Because for us, that was our biggest means of promotion, is we knew that having great photographs is how we're going to get people to follow us, so that people will look forward to the shows we're coming, because they're like, oh, they're booking great acts, like look at this scene and look at this shot, like this is amazing. Right. And I mean, have you found that like social media has played, or has social media played a role in kind of your access to venues and acts, or like has there been any kind of relationship there?
Kinda, maybe, but yeah, okay, that's an answer.
Oh, that's an answer.
I feel like I'm different because of the fact that the promoter I used to work with, basically was doing all of the black acts in the city at one point.
Yeah,
So,
remember,
I knew the people at the Black Cat already. Then eventually I actually worked at the Black Cat. Then that same person was working at the Howard. I started knowing people at the Howard. I started shooting. I was one of a couple of the house photographers at the Howard. And then, same thing with 930. I was around. I knew some of the people there. I mean, I still had to interview, but I didn't. But
really, they made you interview?
Yeah, they should, because that was a new venue, and I didn't know.
But it's the same.
It's the same, but I didn't know. It was like years removed. I was already like shooting, doing other things, so it made sense. I had to.
Okay, I mean, as long as you're not salty, because I'm like, that
no.
kind of
I interviewed. I interviewed for the box office position. I was bored during the day. I took a whole couple of years off, and I became a nomad. No one knew where I really lived, because I was between here, Philly, and New York. People were like, yeah, where you live at? You live in Philly, right? I was like, no. You live in New York? No. Because they would see me all the time, but just didn't know where I was at. And then eventually I was like, let me sit down for a minute. So I sat down and I was like, maybe I need a little day job. This artist thing was cool, but I want to put some little foundation down, because I'm not a spring chicken. So, I was the box office day person, and then supervisor, but I'm also one of the house photographers. So it's
ooh, that would be a long day.
It can be sometimes. The bad part is sometimes, it's a long day, but it's a rewarding day. I'm happy at the end of the day, because I love working for the anthem, and then I still am in like music, and there's a room around it, and I'm learning more of a back end thing that maybe I can use later on in life, and then I get to shoot at one of the really cool videos.
That's a really cool venue.
Yeah, I'm trying to shoot the Deftones in
Oh,
August, because they're coming in August, and I'm like,
had you ever shot at the Rock and Roll Hotel?
oh Lord, yes.
Sadly, R.I.P. That was a great venue.
That was a horrible venue to shoot at.
Really? Well,
Because
there was no room. I mean, you're like, what?
There's no
You're
There's no
right
pit.
up.
It's
There's no pit. It's like
it's
stage
me
and then you.
and then everybody beside me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I shot there, and I didn't like it. Like I shot there.
They had lighting.
They didn't. I didn't like it.
Like they have lighting? What?
They had a little something.
Okay.
They had somebody with a flashlight. in the back.
So anti-mask there.
I shot this group called, they're called Random, but it's all spelled with just the consonants, not the vowel. And it was,
I hate it when groups do that. I'm like, what is your name? Can
It-
you just don't be cute?
it was, I mean, it works for some
I mean, you know, y'all do you. I'm just saying.
you're like, what, J,
Like, what is
R,
this?
Who? But it was, Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam. It was
Mhm.
his side band.
Okay.
And they played at the Black Cat before.
Mhm.
And so that's how I was familiar with them because I was running the merch table
Mhm.
for them. And then I was like, oh, you're kind of cool. And then they came back and I was like, and I became cool with one of the members. And I was like, hey, he's like, wait, you're a really good photographer. You want to shoot my band? I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I'm here, you're here, let's do it. So
Right.
that's how some of my connections kind of came about from. Someone saw my photos, like, okay, so this one was kind of cool. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in New York, and I shot, I photographed D'Angelo. So there was part of the
Ooh.
I think I saw some of those pics.
Tribeca Film Festival
Yeah.
was going on, and so he did a song called "Unshaken"
Mhm.
on the Red Dead Redemption video game.
Mhm.
And the gentleman that put the soundtrack together, his name was Daniel Lanois,
Mhm.
and he's like an older like rock producer. He produced like Brian Eno and U2 and
Mm.
like U2 in its heyday.
Mhm.
And so I was like, all right. And a friend of mine that is his name is Jermaine Holmes. He's a singer as well.
Mhm.
He's one of D'Angelo's background singers, and he was like, hey, I'm playing organ and other things. And I was like, wait, you play organ? you do things other than sing? And I never knew that. And so he was like, yeah, I don't really show that side. He, he's reared in the church. And so he was like, yeah, I play drums, I do this, I do that. And I was like, oh. So he was like, would you come up and get photos of me, doing
Yeah.
those things? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, you get D2. And I was like, okay. So, but that point, even though D'Angelo was the bigger name, my assignment was my friend.
Okay.
So whereas, younger cats or somebody in that position, you're like, I got you, but I'm gonna focus on you.
Right.
And for him, unfortunately they had him in the shadows, so there wasn't too much I could get. I got enough. And then, I had the access to be backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm like, all right, so it was like Pete Rock back there and some of the other performers, and one of my photography idols was actually shooting as well. So I was
Who was
like,
that?
his name is Danny Clinch.
Okay.
He's
Yeah, I saw that photograph. That's how you posted it.
so he shot a lot of like Springsteen, it's Preservation Jazz Hall, Pearl Jam, like some of the
You really got a rock soul, don't you?
I think
You do.
so I met him once before, and he actually remembered me. And I was like, "You sure you remember me? You're not just telling me you remember me?" All right, cool, thank you. And then the funny thing is, I'm gonna veer back, but the funny thing is, I had a moment where I was like, "Wait, I have the exact same access as Danny."
Wow.
And I was like, for a moment, I was like, "Oh, that's really kind of cool."
Yeah.
So, on stage, backstage, whatever, staying out of the way, little tucked away type situations. So I did my assignment, and I got something a little extra with the D'Angelo. And the one thing I like to do is I like to photograph musicians' hands, because I feel that there's a story within the hands. And I met D'Angelo one time before, and he was very, very, very nice. Very intense. Like, I've only met one other gentleman with that much intensity, and that was Saul Williams. Because when they talk to you, they're here. Like they're in, and I'm like, okay,
Like, oh, get it back away, get it back away.
right? It's
So
like
much.
overload, but I mean, not bad, but it's just like, this is very intense. So with D'Angelo, you know, he listened to what I had to say. In my brain, I'm like, that's how I thought it sounded. And so, you know, he signed, oh, you went to the show. Do you remember seeing the picture of D'Angelo? It was,
Yes.
he signed that for me. I took it with me.
Nice.
So, he said he liked the picture. He signed the picture. We talked a little bit about music. I asked him, I was like, I have a strange request. And I was like, I know that's probably not the right way to say this. But, and he's kind of looking like, I was like, don't worry, it's not as bad as you think. I was like, can I take a photo of your hands? Because, and then I told him how I felt that, you know, musicians' hands tell a story. And he kind of lit up. And I was like, all right, this is going to work. So he let me take a photo of his hands. And then he let me do like a quick portrait of him really quickly.
Nice.
So I thank Jermaine for all of that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and then that connection right there, you know, he helped me a little bit, and then and you know, I helped him. So that's how most of my photography things.
Yes, it seems to be relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
But like, do you feel that you're pigeonholed in terms of the type of acts that you photograph? I mean, it's a lot of R&B type things, and I know you've mentioned a lot of, you know, rock, metal.
So it's easier a little bit sometimes with some of the R&B stuff, or, you know, some of the outlets that I shoot for are more R&B based.
Okay.
I am a bad photographer because I have pictures of Poison that I never put out. I have pictures of 9 Inch Nails that the 9 Inch Nails one did make it on the site, but
Of Trent Reznor. Is he short? Disappointed.
he projects.
He projects very tall. Oh, okay. Well,
It's okay.
Anyway.
he's still intense.
he's
So,
very intense.
So I don't think I've pigeonholed myself too much. I do know that even with the show Buckshot that I just did, look, it was more so a collaboration show between the painter Buck and myself. One of the pieces that we did that we collabed on was, it looked kind of dark, but it had a brain on it. It was called Morning Sun.
Yes.
So that's Dave Navarro.
Wow.
Is that who that was?
But I took that picture, that was at the 930 Club when Jane's Addiction came by. And I don't know why I printed the photo, but I didn't like it because I felt it was too dark. And I was like, you're not going to tell everybody who it is all the time. You're not going to be able to see because it's so shadowy.
Yeah.
But he loved it. So I never put out the Jane's Addiction photos that I took. I never put out, Flaming Lips, I did put out Flaming Lips. But a lot of some of my alternative stuff from R&B and soul, I never put up. And then there's a lot of R&B festival stuff that I is not on my site. I literally sat on it.
Why?
Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to put up like 58 photos. No one's going to sit here and look at 58 photos. And then I have a hard time of narrowing down. Like, someone's like, hey, can you send me like 10 of your best photos? I would literally sit there for 3 hours. Here's 20 and you figure it out. You pick the 10 that you like out of these 20. So I have that issue.
You can't self-edit.
I have to really kind of hunker down on it. And then even now, like sometimes during the pandemic, I went back to like some old stuff and I re-edited it. I was like, I see this differently now. Let me try. Or like there was a picture that, because I never throw it. There's a picture that whenever I was doing whatever, I didn't like it. And then I went back and I was like, oh. And then I saw it in a different light.
It sounds like you could have like a lot of shows with all this content. A lot of exhibitions.
I can, but see, the other thing that someone's like, hey, so when's that coffee table book?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, no.
No way.
Because I feel that I don't have enough work. And
Come on.
see, for me, I've heard that. For me, I feel that I've shot a lot of the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I may like them, or two, that's just like I've shot the Roots forever. I've shot the Miguel. I have some Lenny, Bilal, like, and those are all soul people. Like I have 9 Inch Nails. I've shot them a couple of 3 or 4 times, and it's just I just feel like it's gonna be repetitive, but it probably won't. It's just, I think that's just the fear I have to overcome. We may break that fear, maybe, but I mean, I have some photos in some books, like the rock and roll.
The rock and roll one.
That one is.
How did that happen?
They had a contest, and I put up like a couple of pictures, and I was like, yeah, I'll put these couple pictures. And they reached out. They was like, hi, can we? And I should have put more in there, but I put 2. I put one of Nas, it was very random, and then one of Amy Winehouse. They bid on the Amy Winehouse.
Wait, you photographed Amy Winehouse?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, somehow you don't think that's enough for a coffee table book. Okay.
So, you know,
You know what? I'm just going to invite myself over. And we're just going to be like, okay, this is book volume 1. Because I know there's enough for
So
several
yeah, a few
volumes.
coffee table books, yeah.
Yes, you could do like the DC shows. Then you could do like Evolution. You could do like Roots from, you know, like when Questlove's fro was a little lower, you know, and show. I'm just throwing it out there, but I'm seeing volume.
before when Black Girl had locks.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So, you know, there's that book, and then there's another book, God Save the Queens by Kathy Ian Doley. It's a book about women rappers, women MCs, I like to say. And so I have at least, I think I have 5 or 6 photos in there. I think it's Little Kim, Lauryn Hill, Rhapsody, Cardi B.
Wow.
And I always forget one. There's one other lady who I can't remember.
Was it Foxy Brown?
No, I never got.
MC Light?
Nope, I never got the Foxy Light thing. Kim got caught because I was at a Diddy show.
Okay.
And she was just up there. With him.
Okay.
And then there's some photos coming up in the upcoming Smithsonian Rap Anthology.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So there's two in there, and then the other one it's called Infom.
Okay.
It's that was put on by 2 Black women photographers. One of them I was familiar with her work because she shot a lot of the Fuji stuff in the Source, and the other young lady, Layla, she reached out to me and she saw one of my Maxwell shots on like Instagram or something, and she asked me if I would, you know, submit some photos. And the one they chose, I was like, really? It's the one that I thought was gonna be the surefire. I was like, this is it.
Right.
She chose the one that I was like, yeah, maybe. And I was like, okay.
But why?
But why? And you can't tell it's Maxwell. That's the funny thing. So I'm behind him.
Okay.
So what you see is him in a suit, and then you see the women in the front. This was at the
Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you see. And it's kind of like, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that seems a weird one.
It's
Can't see his face.
But she said that she liked the what's the word I'm looking for here? I am running out of the word.
The ambiance, the mood.
No, okay.
The backdrop.
Nope, I can't even figure out the word. I can't believe words are escaping me right now. The composition.
There you go.
Of the it was coming.
Yeah.
of the photo, and then how the audience is
Just
responding.
reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's probably right, because you probably have thousands of pictures of his face. Because it's a beautiful, it's a nice change of perspective.
Yeah.
So I can see why she picked it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes some sense.
And I'm gonna recommend another artist to you while we're here. His name is Kenneth Whalum.
Kenneth, what now?
Whalum. The third. But
Don't need to. Okay, I'm sure I can find it.
I will direct you.
Okay.
I will direct you.
Is this a local person?
No, he's actually he's a saxophone player.
I love saxophone.
Well, he played in Maxwell's band.
Ooh.
And he also played a little short leg in D'Angelo's when he was in the Vanguard. When the Vanguard was around. And he's also a solo artist. So he plays the horn, but he also kind of sings a bit. He also played on like a bunch of Jay-Z joints. He's a good guy.
I will definitely get that.
He played at Bohemian Caverns.
Yes.
He did that.
R.I.P.
So he did the jazzy thing down there.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
wow.
awesome.
Yeah, that was a smoking joint.
Yeah, I feel like we're losing so many venues. It's so sad.
Yeah, but it's gonna come back, but it's gonna be different.
It's gonna be different.
And because this happened years ago when U Street kind of revitalized it.
Yeah.
And, and then after every little riot, pandemic, whatever, depression, there's gonna be some casualties, but some of them come back better, some come back different, some don't come back at all. So
Right.
I mean, the caverns, you can't really get rid of that. I just think the people that have the venue now, that have the space now, don't know what to do with it. So they just close it off. It's still there. It's a landmark. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of it. You can't change it. So they don't know what to do with
They don't
it
do that.
because they got all the fancy stuff
Right.
like Harley.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I walked by there and I was like, what is this smell?
Harley.
Yeah.
Like, okay, does that make sense to me? But okay.
It's colorful.
Yes. I've seen their Instagram. It looks very interesting.
Colorful.
We're gonna go with that word.
With
Yes.
the piano hanging off the.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so we're gonna do a hard pivot. you don't even know where this is coming from.
Oh gosh.
Where are we going?
How DC are you?
Oh, okay.
So here's how this is going to go. Here's how we hope it's going to go.
No, I mean you're what, the third guest?
Third guess.
Third
Yeah.
guest.
All right. So we're going to give you a choice between two DC related things,
Okay.
and you have to pick one of them. We ask that you pick one of them, or we'll read a short phrase, and you have to finish it.
It's not hard. It's just for fun.
You gonna find out how DC I'm not.
We'll alternate. Okay. So here we go.
All right.
What does DC mean to you?
Home.
Aw, I like that answer. Okay, is it my turn? Are we
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
every
yeah,
other?
yeah.
Okay. Mambo sauce or Old Bay?
Mambo sauce.
Half smoke or hot dog?
Ooh, I don't particularly care for one of them. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna talk this one out.
Okay.
All right, see.
Wrestle with your spirit on this one.
I would say.
Because if you go to the stand, you can get the half smoked chips and soda for, I think it's like.
Don't be trying to
$30.
sway me.
Or the 2 hot dogs,
Well, no.
chips and soda.
Okay, so my DC side is like, yo, you need to say half smoke, right? But
Hey, no judgment.
but my personal preference is like, I'm gonna say hot dog because I'm not calling it a glizzy because that's what they call hot dogs now.
Really?
Why is
I
it
didn't
called a
know
glizzy?
that.
Don't know.
Is this something the kids are doing?
Yes.
Calling a hot dog
Okay,
a
I'm too
glizzy.
old.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
too old.
I mean,
That's
So I'm gonna say hot dog.
all right.
Hot dog. Okay. Ooh, this one's fun. Okay. 9:30 Club, Black Cat, or Dewdrop Inn. I changed this one just for you, just so you know.
You're in a special place here.
I mean, you can say it depends. You can justify it.
Okay, no. All right, I'm gonna do this one. We're gonna X out Dewdrop, because I've never been there, I heard of it, never really
Okay.
experienced it. My
There
Oh
you
my
go.
God, you have it tattooed on your arm. Wow.
That's what's up.
I mean, you can't get more.
That's what's up.
Wow.
But this is part of me. It's part of my story.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's part of my story. So I am actually between the both, even though
Yeah.
I'm going to say both. Wait. Are you talking F Street 930? Or are you talking current 930?
Is it a different answer depending on where it is?
No, it just puts another piece.
You
on
got
it.
a tattoo on your arm for crying out loud.
Yeah, but that is basically more so for me because it's part of my story of where I was reared from. Whereas also the black cat is part of my story as well because it also helped inspire some of the things that I'm doing.
Well, then how about this? I'll give you what question with that? 4A. Old 930 Club, old smelly 930 Club,
Yeah.
or new shiny 930 Club? Well, shiny-ish.
You ain't gonna like this answer either. Both, because man, I saw Redman and a bunch of other people, all artifacts. That old,
At the old 930.
smelling 930.
I saw the Roots. I saw Gangstar
You saw Gangstar?
opening for the Roots at the old 930.
See,
Oh, that's funny. See,
Scott Storch was playing keys.
Oh, that's funny. I saw Gangstar at the newer 930.
Wow.
That's funny.
Rozelle was still
Part of the Roots.
Yeah.
So they both hold, the old and new,
Mhm.
both hold weight, like an even amount.
Wow. But why get them tattooed on your arm? Like,
All
what
right,
was
so
it about?
the explanation of the
I'm sorry, we're taking another diversion.
of the 930. I'm sorry. Of the 930 tattoo was one. It was during their World Fair. I was there for something, and as you can see, I kind of like tattoos a little bit, and I was like, this is part of my story. I mean, this is before I worked there. I was like, I was here I've seen shows here. I've laughed in this venue. I've cried in this venue. I've started some of my photography in this venue. I was like, it's part of who I am.
Yeah.
So, and it was free. So why not?
Right,
Here,
right.
I need a little pain today. Go and carve me up. Go on.
That's awesome. No, that's really cool.
And then I end up working for the company. Kind of funny.
Nice. I feel like y'all owe me, like, literally.
They owe me nothing.
Okay, your turn.
Adams Morgan, U Street or H Street?
Wait, then or now? Or period?
Period.
You.
Okay.
Why?
Again, a lot of from 99 to at least 07 when I was there. Like, that was an extension of who I was. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe some Sundays, I was on U Street. H Street, though, I'm going to mention H Street. H Street is a little different because my grandmother used to take me to H Street. You know, we would go to the McCory's down there, whatever, and we would, you know, before, after church. So that block holds a lot of cool memories just from that.
Yeah.
Adams Morgan, nah, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's adjacent to my neighborhood, but that's okay.
They have a good record store down
That's
there.
true, they do. What is it, your turn or my turn?
Your turn.
Okay.
6.
Okay. Who is your favorite local music act? And it can be more than one. Because Corey did like his top 5. But I'll give you top 5.
Of local?
Local. And it can be DMV.
Odyssey. Gold Link. Tim Hicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
The church say that. Let the dirt say amen.
Let's see. What's the other person's name I'm thinking about? Jay Cyanide. And that's a producer. Kev Brown. We throw Kev Brown.
Kev. It's
Nice.
vinyl. All right. What are your favorite local art gallery?
Oh, my favorite local art gallery. Well, there's more than one. There's the lovely Anacostia Art Center, which is my neighborhood gallery.
Neighborhood gallery.
And then there is Art of Noise, which is that's funny.
Keep going. I'm on camera.
I don't know your pet words.
So, just for Terrence's sake, I will answer this again. Anacostia Art Center, because it's in the neighborhood and I'm a Ward 8 resident. Art of Noise. See, what else is my other favorite? The Blacksonian, because I actually still have yet to complete it, because I have not completed it. And yeah, I'm gonna do those three.
Okay. Good answer. Okay, over to me. Your favorite place for late night eats?
Ooh, don't do that anymore. This is not my house. Let's see. Favorite place for late night eats. All right. Well, I'm gonna do the old DC staple. I'm gonna say Ben's.
Nice. That sugar bowl is just always a good time.
It's a good environment. I usually have a nice time with friends when I will go there. Because right now, all late night eats happens out of my refrigerator.
Okay, the next one is technically Terrence's.
We're waiting
on you. All right, fine. I'm just gonna take his question. Okay. Your favorite hidden gem or off the beaten path spot in DC?
The Kenilworth Aquatic Garden.
So beautiful. I love that spot. Okay, this one. Well, no, this will still be a good one. Okay. EU, Trouble Funk, or Junkyard? Oh, see if I didn't see. I figured this would be easy.
That is not easy. That is so not
I'm
easy.
sorry, I thought this would be an easy one.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to make you ask me that question again so Terrence can set up his camera. You're going to ask me that question again so I can complain about it again.
Okay, I skipped ahead. I was asking her, okay, well, technically, since I took your number 9, you can ask her number 10.
EU, Trouble Funk, or Junkyard?
And just as I was thinking and as I was saying, at one point, that is not easy because you got the Godfathers and then you got... Yeah, so I'm going to have to go all three because I can't do that one.
That's tough.
That's a tough one.
That's tough.
Because even though Junkyard is more closer to my... Nah. Yeah. The Trouble... Nah.
It's
all
just
three.
too many.
That's
okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
that's a stupid question.
That's a tough one.
That's hard.
Because there's a lot of stuff in those little commas. Every comma represents like an error. Anacostia Skate Park or Rock Creek Horse Park, where I almost died.
Wait. Okay.
At the horse park, what happened?
You fell off a horse. What you
Ella the horse. Ella
was a sweetie.
Ella was tired.
Ella is old. Ella is like...
Ella is very big. and it was late in the afternoon, and we were walking on the side, and we were walking along sides of hills, and I was like, can a horse really do this? Are we gonna not fall off of this?
And
side
she
of the
likes
hill?
to walk to the left. She likes to walk close to the edge.
And Ella was just like, I was like, man, please, Ella, please, we almost back. We almost back at the spot. Just come on, just hold me down. We're almost back. I'll give you a mint and all of that. Yeah. So
Well, you
What
still
happened?
there.
huh?
Did she buck you, or
We
was
made
she
it
just
back,
like,
but we made it back, but there was a couple times where it felt like, to me, it felt close, like I was gonna get thrown. It felt close to me.
Yeah, because Ella, she's very sweet.
You know about Ella?
Yes, that's who I rode when I went. She's very sweet, because I told them, give me one. Like, I don't want the young buck that they were training, because
Yeah.
I'm like, that's asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I want one who is like, can do it blindfold. That's the
Yeah.
horse I want.
Yep.
So that's who they gave me Ella. But Ella is also older,
Yeah.
and I think she is over everything.
Yeah. I mean, her
She's
whole
like,
affect
I
is
don't
like,
care.
yeah,
She's like, I don't want to do this.
totally going through the motions.
Going through the motion. She's like, let's hurry this up so I can go sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's sweet, but she is like,
Yeah. That's
she's
exactly.
like, I don't care about you
That's exactly.
at all.
Ella is the equivalent.
She's a grumpy
when
teenager.
it's-
She's like, I don't want to come out of the
Right.
room.
Ella's the equivalent of when you're at CVS or Giant and there are people standing by the self-checkout. It's just like, you know how to do this. Do it on a bag, but you need me to scan this thing for you. What's your phone number? Yeah, thank you. That's Ella.
Skate
Last
park.
time I ever, right.
Skate park.
Right. And
She's
that
like,
was the
I'm not
last
messing
time
with
I
the
ever
horses.
did that too, by the way.
Yeah, she's like, I never want to meet Ella.
Yeah, I'm good.
Like, nope. Oh, that was good.
I hope it was, because you hit me with some.
And then that was
triggers
in like 07. That was like 06, 07.
Wait, and Ella, is she still there?
Unless it's like her offspring, maybe. I don't know.
Ella's
Or maybe,
glue.
do horses live a long time? I don't know about
Some of
horses.
them do.
I mean, theoretically, it could be the same one.
They make an upgrade to Ella's glue.
That is
You
terrible.
get it?
I got it. Don't go back, because whoever ever she heard that.
No, if I go back and horse riding, they'd be like, I'm good. I'll go to the skating rink. So, Sneakshot.
Oh, wait.
Why
I
do we
have a
call you
question
that?
before we. That was gonna be my question.
I'm
You got it.
already there.
That was
Why
my
on
question.
earth? Did you give yourself that name or did someone else give you that name? Is that
No,
someone-
that was me. That was me.
That's a cool name.
So, originally, I wanted to start a blog, or a blog as a person in the nightlife.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't want anyone to know it was me. So I was going to come up with this name because also I was a sneakerhead.
Mhm.
And I was going to name it Sneaker Lancaster.
Sneaker Lancaster.
wow.
Oh, love it.
And I had a logo and everything. And then I was just like, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
You know, you just have those
Yeah.
ideas and then you just go. Nah. So when it came time to, someone's like, oh, you have to have a photography name. Because honestly, I didn't like my name. So it wouldn't work. Victoria Ford.
Ford?
Right. I was like,
It's a lovely name.
Yeah.
I heard that a lot. My friend's like, oh, it sounds regal. So every time she sees me, she's like, Victoria Ford. So she can't. Thank you, Kia Bennett, for that. So I was like, and then we found a name. I was like, oh, I like sneakers. I'm shooting Sneakshot. And, Okay.
Right.
It's like the little hamster in the wheel was like,
Yeah.
let's go with it.
Right,
So I Sneakshot what it was, and then I added the photography part, and it's weird because now I'm like, I'm Victoria Ford though.
Right.
So I'm getting older,
Mhm.
and so I mean I still use them both in certain situations, but for the most part, I'm like photo credit Victoria Ford / Sneakshot. Same person. Because most people, the funny thing was, most people thought I was a boy. They thought I was a guy. Just because they didn't know who I was, they just saw my work.
Yeah.
So they thought I was a guy. And then they was
Do you
like,
think that helped you? That people thought you were a guy, maybe?
maybe.
Interesting. Because I knew you as Sneakshot. So I think when I reached out to you and you came at Victoria, I was like, who the hell is that? I was like, is this like her intern who's responding to me?
Right.
Because I was like, who the heck is that?
And then, my email address does not say my name. No, it's just like.
Yeah, in most places. I mean, in some articles, I'll see it both. But a lot of places, it's just Sneakshot. So I was just, yeah, and I did think you were a dude. Layers upon layers.
So, is there anything that you'd like to promote?
Like a book of
Well,
photography
one
that'll
thing
be
for sure,
coming out
you
soon.
have work that's at the Art Center in the East of the River Show. Two
Yes, I
pieces,
do.
Mm-hmm.
which I love a lot.
Yes, I have 2 pieces currently up for auction at the Anacostia Art Center in the East of the River Show, like the gentleman just said. It is part of my Grills series.
Oh, okay.
Every show I do, just a new thing I've started. Every show that I'm doing, I try to incorporate like a 4 set of something.
Oh, that's
So
great.
in a previous show, it was hands.
Okay.
It was rappers' hands. So I had them kind of put their fists together because 2 of them had tattoos on their hands, and the other 2. Okay, so let's break it down this way. One is of this rapper Dave East from New York, and he has his name tattooed on his hands. And the other one was Prodigy. Rest in peace, Prodigy. So he has Mobb Deep on his hand, but on his pinky he had this really huge gold dragon ring, so it's like Mobb Deep. But it came out, and that was the last photo I shot of him. 2 weeks later, he was gone.
Oh, wow.
And then another one is of Jadena. His hands, he had like some gold rings on. The final set of hands belongs to Thundercat.
Thundercat, yeah.
Because he has a bunch of like.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah.
So
that's so cool. So a 4 shot is called a grill?
it was the grill. Well, no. The one that's it. You saw this show.
Yeah.
So the 4 with the gold.
Yeah.
The grills.
Okay, that's what I thought you were talking about. I was like,
So one is Miguel, who you really can't see. One is Miguel. One is of a young lady in a group called Ebony.
okay.
She was the lower one. She was pulling one
Pull it
side.
down.
And then there's Rose Gold, which is the girl. She has both sides pulled down. The roses kind of look like Frida Kahlo. And then Let 'Em Shine is the other gentleman with just the beard. Mouthful of gold. So that's what I have going on currently.
Do you have any shows coming up that you're going to be shooting or photographing? Pardon me.
Hopefully, but being COVID is so weird, and the thing, like I said, the thing that I have shot that was outdoors, so I don't know what COVID restrictions are going to be coming.
Because a lot of Palooza, they evidently are like, COVID was never a thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm like, okay.
I honestly, so I really want to shoot. You can tell I really want to do this because my voice has changed.
Your voice just went up.
So there's a show coming at Meriwether Post Pavilion in August or September. I can't remember what it is. I think it's September. And I really would like to photograph it. And it's New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block. No one wants to go to this show with me. Because when they were here, like 4 years ago?
I missed that one.
See, I dilly-dallied. Because I was trying to get someone to go with me. I'm in between that time of me waiting on people, it's sold out. And I was mad.
This one's going to
So
be
I
the same.
don't want to go, but no one wants to go with me. I'm like,
See, and I was, again, back to that whole weird thing.
Yes.
I was diehard New Edition, diehard New Kids on the Block.
See, I was all about Donnie. That's how I got into them.
Really?
We're not the same person.
Wait, who was your New Edition? Because everybody has one, except for you.
So I like Bobby because he could dance, but vocally, I like Ralph. And
Oh yeah, Johnny's a local boy. He's a
Yeah.
DC boy.
Mhm.
Okay, so you went for the whole package. I just went for the superficial. I thought you were cute.
Right.
And my New Edition love corresponds, honestly, personality-wise, with my New Kids on the Block love.
Oh, really?
Mike.
Mike. Yeah, I saw them when they came to the park.
What, BBD?
No, BBD.
I saw them
That
when they
show
came.
was easy.
They did Live. Do you remember Live?
Uh-uh.
Live is the old,
Yeah.
Harlot. It's upstairs.
Oh.
They performed at Live, and that's where I met. I got to meet Mike.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah?
when they were at the park,
Yeah.
and because they let in too many people,
Sounds about right.
I have never seen more women lose their minds.
Wow.
I mean, and I like them, but I was never like, ah! I like them because they could dance.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, I know the choreography to Can You Stand the Rain? Like, when that song comes on,
If it isn't Love.
I love that one too. The little, when they spin, I love it. And when it comes on, automatically, I have to do the choreography. Like, you can't just sit there. You got to do the video choreography. So that's why I like them. But I was never into them, like, in the face.
See, I was into both. I was into both. All the girls I knew like Ralph, so I was like, good,
Yeah,
keep going.
I mean, Ralph was cute.
And go, keep,
But Ralph was too skinny.
keep going. Get. But, so, yeah, so I really want to shoot this New Kids show. But, I think the for sure thing I'm going to do next is Made in America. So, Labor Day
Who's
weekend.
playing? I mean, I could Google this.
Bieber, Justin Bieber.
No, thank
And,
you.
is it Kid Cudi? Can't remember if it's Kid Cudi.
It's also, no, thank you.
I like Kid Cudi.
I mean,
I mean, he has, I like eras. I'm a big Pharrell fan.
yes.
Hopefully they add more people because the lineup is these lineups are a little
Little
interesting. What, coming out of COVID, people don't want it. So I get it. And then hopefully I can do another festival with, Tyler, the Creator, right? Because he just dropped a new album and I know he's on a couple of things. I don't think his festival is going to happen this year because he normally has a festival in LA that I shoot or I have shot. So, photograph, whatever.
Nice. Well, I tell you this. If you don't end up photographing NKOTV, we should just go.
That sounds like
I'll go with you. Because I'm not waiting on people I'm not missing out on this show for the second time.
Oh my.
Waiting on people.
He's like, I don't know that
Like,
life. I don't know this life.
I know, yeah. Not
But
that
feel
much.
free to, whatever you got.
I mean, you can come too. I don't need to. You can come too.
Yeah, he ain't
He's like,
paying.
no, thank you.
Tell me about it.
You talking about somebody sitting there like,
I'm like,
he gonna sit there like,
I'll be somewhere eating my Barnum's animal cookies.
drinking my tea.
So where can people find you on socials, on the socials?
On Instagram, I am Sneakshot Photography. It's all one long word. Sorry about that. Also Facebook, it's Sneakshot Photography. Yep, I'm gonna have you typing. Twitter, it's Sneakshot Photo. See, I'm shortening it a little bit.
Sneakshot photo, okay.
And my website is, the www.sneakshot.net. Not .com, but
Sneakshot.net.
.net. Yes.
Okay. And we'll be sure to drop a link for the, this is going to be on our Hut YouTube channel.
Okay.
So people can see it, and we'll have all the relevant information in the page. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at curious_caravan.
And you can find me at T Nicholson Art on Instagram, and Hut DC Events on Instagram. And I think that's it. I got a couple of other ones. I need to narrow that down. I need to start
You got
narrowing
a
that
lot.
down. Yeah. Well, Vicky, it's weird, like, you know, because we're like buddies, you know what I mean? It's like having these conversations are really important. I always end up like traveling down memory lane, and I'm really grateful that you came. Really grateful that you could spend an afternoon with us, reminiscing and taking us to the future. Everybody, what the In the Pocket series is about is we're going to link these people together, one conversation at a time. It's a spider web. This is a big, small town. We want to thank Vicky one more time for coming, and thank all you guys for making it possible. In the Pocket. Peace.
Thanks for having me. I hope I didn't talk a hole in your head too much.